Yes. Thanks.
Clerk Paul, could you call the committee hold to order, please?
Lennon,
Here.
Wetwood,
Here.
Leisure,
Here.
Fate,
Here.
Pabon,
Here.
Ruiz,
Here.
Aaronella,
Here.
Carmichael.
Here.
8 present, Mayor.
Okay, so for tonight, we have on the discussion of the moratorium not to allow building on lots less than 30 feet. The Building, Zoning, and Planning Committee. I have no idea what that has to do with this, but in any case, Alderman Leisure, this was your request to have this moratorium. Do you want to lead it off?
Yes, so I think we're going to discuss some of the zoning that goes along with this today.
We held a meeting on September 5th, I believe, with my other colleagues, and we discussed Richard's proposal here, what he concerns were, and he gave those to us, and we went through all the zoning codes, and Ruth was kind enough to print us, there's a zoning code here for everybody with all the districts and everything, so y'all know that, so it's a good thing to keep. Page 83 is what we're kind of looking at right now. This would be section 1252.03, because in every zoning district, all the commercial, well, the commercial districts are different, but the residential districts, R1, 2, 3, and 4s, every code, you know, if you look in here, it says 30-foot lot, 30-foot lot, 30-foot lot. But there is a, in the 1252.03 section, there is a area with 9 applications here that are considered minor variations that are allowed to be considered a minor variation and approved by the zoning administrator, which is the building director, without going to the alderman or going to the zoning board. So this is what we're concerned with. You can reduce the lot size by 20%. You can reduce the width by 20%, which allows it to build on a 25-foot lot or a 28-foot lot without going to zoning or, you know, not even knowing that this is happening. So this is what our concern was. I have no objections to building on smaller lots. If there was a few, you know, home there, it's torn down, you know, why not build on it? You know, it was there. And then we also have to take into consideration too, if somebody owns a 25-foot lot and they have a hardship or financial need to sell, you know, we have to consider that too. But I believe this was put in back with the CMAP back in the day to move things faster, to move things forward quicker. But I don't know if we need that quickness. I think we need a little bit more time to look at these things and let every alderman get a look at, like, hey, is this going to be a good idea for my neighborhood or my, you know, everybody knows their own neighborhoods. You know, I guess Richard had a concern. He had one put on, was it Wisconsin?
Yeah.
That went in and on a 28-foot lot.
31,
Oh, it was a 31-foot lot, okay. It was squeezed
But-
between 2 houses there.
and
Okay.
the extent of the house was allowed to be changed.
Okay. Yeah, the house was built larger. There's no backyard space, correct?
Correct.
So a lot of changes to the size and the variations, correct?
Right,
Okay, and it was just approved by the director, correct?
right, so I think something
Okay.
like that might be.
So that was, I guess,
more
Richard's
major.
concern. I would like to see, you know, this possibly be changed, because it says minor variations, and there's 9 of them. If we change it to a major variation, then we'd have to go to zoning, you know, take 30 days, 45 days, then we'd have to come to council for a vote on it. So, you know, if that's something that we don't want, you know, our committee, we talked about this, and we decided to bring it here for discussion. So do we want to leave it in the hands of the building director to say, oh, we can build on 25, no problem? Or do we want a little bit more control and send it to zoning, bring it here, and let that board review it, and let us take a look at it, and then approve it or deny it? So any thoughts, any process here? Or?
Well, I would say the one that Alderman Leha is talking about is if it's on a 31-foot lot, it would not be even part of this.
Correct.
So that would be a whole different story.
But there are a lot of changes approved by, I guess Richard's saying that there's like no backyard space, it's almost built all the way to the back, correct? Or-
Yes, and I think a little oversight wouldn't hurt, just, especially as we're running out of places to build, a little bit of oversight can't hurt. And maybe the alderman should know what's going on, be told about it, and then maybe the zoning could look at it.
So that's why we brought this here tonight, just to see if we should change this from a minor variation to a major variation. Then it would have to go to the zoning council, zoning board, which, might not be a bad thing. I don't know. Any thoughts?
Can you, Alderman Day, can you please define what major variation
Well, if you look
is?
here, page 83, we're looking at number 2 here. Zoning classifications, variation applications, either major variations approved by the city council or minor variations approved by the zoning administrator, which is the building director. So then you list here all the minor variations, and it's reduction in minimum size of the lot, reduction of the required width of the lot by 20%. So with that 20% brings it down to a 25-foot lot. So no other in our districts does it say anything about building on a 25-foot lot. Well, this gives the director the authority to approve these, to build on a smaller lot. Because there's times I'm driving by, I'm like, whoa, there's a house going up there, and that's, like, you don't even know it. So it might be, just, that's why we brought this here to say, hey, should we change this to major variations, to send it to zoning, to take a little bit more time, to take the process, to look at it and see if this is going to be good for the neighborhood?
What would be the reason to not allow it to remain a minor variation, provided that the green area is still the same, the setbacks are still the same as if it were on a major? I guess I'm not understanding
Well,
why
I
all of a
guess,
sudden you guys want to change a code that CMAP did a lot of study with, and this is what they put forward.
but this gives the director all the authority to, without us even knowing that a house is going to be built on a 25-foot
So
lot.
you guys want to run the offices as opposed to just doing legislation? I
We
have
don't
no
want to run the
problem
office,
with
we want to
that.
legislate and have this, to take 30, 60 days to look at it. This was put in, I know, to move the process faster. I remember when this was put in, and that's what it was told, but do we really need to move the process faster?
I think for me, Mayor, it's not so much about having control and really, being the directive before the office, but having a little bit more consistency with our ordinances and moving forward with different constructions. I think right now, when we leave it to the discretion of one person, it could be deemed as inconsistent because it is a case-by-case situation. And what I'm hearing from different residents who showed up at not only this meeting, but other meetings, residents appreciate the opportunity of being in the know, of knowing beforehand when these changes take place and having the opportunity to speak on them. Now, whether it goes their way or not is irrelevant. They just really
Well,
love
it's not
the opportunity.
how do you say it's irrelevant?
Not irrelevant, but I'm saying their position on it does not determine the outcome of it. So, irrelevant is the wrong word to say. Whether their position on it is accepted or not is not the key here. The opportunity for them to know of the change taking place before it takes place and having an opportunity to speak on it, I think is really a key factor here. And the only way that can happen.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Did you have a meeting before you guys voted your raises to have the residents speak on it?
Well, not only that topic, but a lot of topics.
A lot of topics, every topic that comes through the city council. That's why they elect you to make these decisions. I'm not opposed to what you guys are saying. I'm asking questions that I don't understand why this is coming up, when in fact CMAP did a long study on what to do, and this is what they proposed, and some of the members that are sitting here voted on it. And now you're telling us, no, we don't want to vote on it. We want to change it.
I
I'm
would
just
add-
confused. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I would add, I think, when it comes to building new houses, no matter what size lot it is, if it's a narrow lot, if it's a 30-foot lot or whatever, many residents are not pleased or happy with the new modern type home within our area, so sometimes that we get, there's more criticization on that. But that's the only thing I can see. I think one of the things that we really need to work on too is, what I would agree with Alderman Lehan, is the backyards. If you're allowing, 75% of concrete or no
We
flood
don't.
mitigation, then that's an issue there. So I think that's kind of one of the things that we need to work on
I'd
as
be
well.
interested in the house he's talking about, because I don't know of any house that the building department is allowed not to have the proper green footage, square footage in the backyard.
I don't think.
No, so it's 31,
Well,
Should I-
you
maybe I
could give it to me later, and I'll check it out. But here's what I'm saying. You're gonna have somebody who has a 25-foot lot, and they're gonna present to the zoning commission. They have to pay money, they have to pay to have that advertised. If what you're looking for is notice, and that the alderman has notice, why don't you just have, before any minor variation is approved, that it has to go to the ward alderman in sufficient time for them to give notice to the area? You want them to pay money to go to the zoning and pay for the ad and everything? That's fine, if that's your decision. I'm just giving you a different alternative. If what you're concerned about is notifying the residents, then make it the alderman's job to notify the residents. Give them the time, the 30 days or whatever it might be, but instead of making these people pay more money to build, why don't you just do that?
I think some of these things that are considered minor are actually major changes. So maybe these should be put back into the major category.
Well, then you're talking about rewriting the zoning map, the
Well,
zoning ordinance.
Changing some of this, yes.
Well, with regard to what's on here, I don't think like any individual one causes too much of a problem, but when, you set the front setback an extra 20% and the back 20%, and then you extend it on the side 20%, now you're like, I don't know, 36% more square feet is being built on that lot than before. So maybe something where if, a number of these minor variations start to add up to be a major variation, would be like a more appropriate.
So in other words, basically limiting it to one minor variation and not a combination of them.
Because I believe we had one before, like in your ward, where it was built and there was an overhang on the side that made, I don't know, basement might have came up to here, and then there was an overhang that came out a foot or so to make it wider.
Oh, yeah, that was on, 28th and Harvey.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
remember that one many years
So
ago.
it was into the, side space.
encroaching, yeah.
Correct, encroaching, yes, correct.
And that was addressed.
Yes,
It
yes.
was addressed, and nothing was changed, so. Unless we just have this, when there's somebody wants to put up a building, it's sent to council, and within 2 weeks, we approve it. It goes to the alderman in their district, and we approve it.
I would say,
And look at the changes and make sure we're okay with them.
well, here's what I would say.
If you don't want to change
If
this
you- if you
minimum
want-
or major,
You guys decide. I'm just giving
Yeah.
throwing out suggestions. But if you want to stay with that, based on what Alderman Ruiz said, I would at least give yourselves 30 days if you want to get the residents' opinion, so that you have sufficient time to poll the residents in the immediate area with respect to that. That's up to you guys, though, what you want to do.
so, but we need to be notified if there's going to be a house going up, correct? Obviously,
You have
by
to be
the
notified that plans are put in for such a house, correct?
Correct. So,
But I don't know. Again, he wants to change some to major
or
variations.
if we just change the major, then it goes to zoning, and then
Or-
it comes to us.
or you
know,
just-
but- And that's what, a $300-400 fee, or what?
Or you take, Bob, how much they pay for zoning again? I think the notice itself in the newspaper is over $300 or $400.
Like 250, 300 for the ad, and then I think it's per variation is the cost.
Correct.
So depending on how much the variation.
Marge would probably know better.
It would dictate the cost.
Unless you just want to take out the minor variation authority to begin with and let everything go to zoning.
And that's, that's what we were
Well, that's what we were looking at,
talking
because,
at our committee meeting, but,
That
I'm
would
not looking to
probably
put a
be-
hardship on anybody, but most of these people are builders coming in and building these homes, right? They're not the guy living next door building a home, or,
Well, the guy next
It's
door has the lot
contractors.
that wants a house built on
Yeah.
it, so if he hires a contractor, of course, he's not going to build it.
I'd like to see it
But I
more-
mean, this all came up with respect to flooding, so I don't understand where the correlation is here.
well, so now, now that we have the moratorium, we can look at these things, and if we change some of this to maximum, then maybe I could remove the moratorium, because then there'd be a little oversight before they
You're
would
not
be
answering
building
my
on these
question.
kinds of things.
This not building on something less than 30 feet came up with respect to flooding. Where's the correlation with flooding here? I see no correlation.
The moratorium was on smaller lots to help stop or to stop building on everything so that there would still be drainable land. So now we're looking at issues that maybe we could, there'd be at least a little control on some of this. So there wouldn't be, if we were going to allow something like this, it would not be covered completely. The house wouldn't go all the way back or all the way to the sides. At least there'd be a little oversight.
I'd like to see more consistency on this, because it, kind of like with our handicap, you know, say it's denied, I override it, or it's denied and somebody pushes it through. It's kind of the same as this in a way.
Well, that would be my suggestion, is if it goes to the alderman, they get a request for a building permit, it goes to the alderman, he has 30 days, he or she has 30 days then to notify the residents, see what they're, and then they would have the decision.
But it would be on us.
Whether
So
you
you're
want to
saying
call
to
it a
do
minor.
that instead of sending it to zoning board? Send it to the local alderman,
That's just an alternative. You can decide what you
Yeah.
want to do. It's just an alternative.
keep this as is, send it to the local alderman and to review and kind of say yay or nay, or let the zoning board do that?
Yeah, that's just an alternative to sending everything to zoning.
So I'm just wondering why, if the major goes to zoning then, and we make this major, then why wouldn't it just all go to zoning? Why would the alderman get
That-
involved?
That's the choice you have. The alternative you have is to make it major, all go to zoning, or make it minor, let it go to the alderman. You guys decide what you want to do.
I mean, my preference is not to reinvent the wheel. We have a procedure in place that works very well. We have a whole committee of individuals that review these and come up with very professional, decisive decisions. I don't see why we need to eliminate that process. I mean, or at the end, the final decision is upon us because their recommendation comes to council. And so if aldermen want to, you know, hold a special meeting with their constituents about it, if there's a lot of pushback or they want them to be more informed, you have time to do that, and then it's up to you to present that at council on why or why not you feel it should move forward.
In which case, then, if you're going to consider it all major, all you have to do from a legal standpoint would eliminate the paragraphs that speak about minor violations.
Okay,
Just make a major then, or,
Well, because then it would all be major.
okay.
all right. then
Just
we-
say
If-
no minor
If you don't have,
variations, yeah.
if you don't have 2A, which specifies the minor violations, if that is eliminated, then there's no minor violation that can be considered.
Yeah.
It's no
Right.
longer a minor violation.
Just, yeah, they're all majors,
Right.
to strike that line.
I mean, we'd have to have legal review what else might have to be, but you could even, based on what Alderman Leisure is saying, is consider change, if he's changing 2A, he could put it under 2B and just make it all major.
All right.
But that's, and then that would go to the zoning board.
Then any house being built on less than a 30-foot lot would go to zoning.
That's what it would be. Because none of
So
these
that's
would
a
be
decision
considered.
we maybe have to make, or, you know, so it's all, and then it would come to council here, and then we can make a decision as, you know, so, I don't know.
Like we
Or
did
do we
with
leave it
the-
as
Do we
is?
have to go back to the committee if we're openly discussing it now and everyone's in favor of it?
Well, if we decide to change, we could send it to legal, I believe, from here, and send it to legal for change, to strike that line.
I mean, I guess I'm really looking, the whole purpose of having this meeting was to have more feedback from others, because it does affect all 8 wards. This is not a one ward
Exactly.
situation, so is there any,
Like I said, I'm not against building on smaller lots, you know, if there's a home there and already tear it down, you build a new one, sure, you know, tax revenue and, but I'd like a little better oversight on it, you know.
Do we ever get an idea of the numbers of times when these variations are approved or anything like that?
No, so we don't have the exact number of when, right now, they're always, they never go to zoning in what
I
they're
know in the
considering.
north end,
Well,
there
that's
was quite
right
a
now,
few
but
ones.
before this ordinance was passed, they all went to zoning.
They all went to zoning, right?
Yeah, before this was passed.
Do you have any idea of like what the reduction looks like in terms of numbers of, what's going before zoning now?
Zero.
Well, no,
No, from,
Everyone would still, but
Well, I mean, On size of lot, there's nothing been going to zoning the last
I-
5 years.
I don't have the numbers with respect to how many were built, let's say on a lot less than 30 feet. I don't have a lot of that because there weren't a whole lot of lots underneath that were under the 30 feet to begin with. Most of the time what occurs is somebody has a house that sits on a 30-foot lot plus a 25. They sell off the 25, and obviously the person who buys it wants to build a house. That's what generally happens. It hasn't happened a lot because we didn't have a lot of these lots. I don't have the exact, no, I don't have that.
Most of what's been sent to zoning is additions. and
Additions,
setback.
correct, right. So you tell us what you want us to do, and because obviously, if we're going to change this ordinance in any fashion, it's got to come back to the council to vote on, but we have to have direction as to what you want to see in it.
Okay.
So do
Any,
we do
any
like-
more, should we do a motion? Is it
No, you don't need a
discussion?
motion, just tell us
Straw
what you want to
poll or
do.
what? Straw poll and check? And-
Well, give me what you want to straw poll vote on, which way do you want it?
To eliminate 2A out of the ordinance.
And make it all major.
Make all this major, so anything would have to go to zoning.
Right, like it was before.
Okay.
So first it would go to the sitting alderman and then zoning?
Oh,
Just to zoning? Okay.
It's taking the alderman out of the
Okay.
equation, except when it gets back to council.
Council, are we clear on what they're asking for?
You want to change everything from minor to major?
Basically, that's what it comes down to. I think that would also call for elimination of 4A, but we'll have to read through it just to make sure, because I think there are other minor variations in zoning with respect to business districts that the building director has the authority, so we have to make sure that we're not taking it out completely, but with respect to 2A, that has to be removed and made major. Okay, so what we'll do then from here, is that everybody's suggestion? Alderman Lennon, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Alderman Whitewood?
Yes.
Alderman Leja?
Yes.
Alderman Fate?
Yes.
Alderman Pavone?
Yes.
Alderman Ruiz?
Yes.
Alderman Aaronella?
Yes.
Alderman Carmen?
Yes.
Okay, so what we'll do then is, we'll prepare an amendment to the zoning code. We do have to check to make sure we don't have to have a public hearing on an amendment to the zoning code. We have to make sure of that. And then we will, once it's amended, whether it's after a public hearing or whatever it might be, we will bring it back to council for the amendment to vote on. And then we'll go from there.
So we're just going to change from a minor to a major, that's it.
Yeah, and it's. I
Strike
think-
that line.
I think it would just be generally a text amendment, which I don't think requires the public hearing, but
Yeah,
I want to
I'm-
confirm.
I agree with you there.
I want to confirm with Lance Molina, who is the chairman of the zoning board, to make sure that we're doing everything properly.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Mayor.
In fact, we might enlist him on the redrafting of this too. Right? Okay?
So we're good, we're sending this to legal then, and?
Yes.
Okay.
Legal's got it, and we will decide how we're going to do it, and then we'll bring it back in a
Then it'll
form of
come
a-
back to us for a vote.
for a vote on the ordinance.
Okay.
the
So in the
amendment.
meantime, Richard's moratorium still in place, I guess, until we solve this? or-
He hasn't lifted the moratorium,
No,
or
so
the
I'll just
council
leave it
hasn't
until we're
lifted it.
done with all that.
Okay, so you'll
we
leave it
clean
till
up
this is
everything else.
redone?
Right.
Okay,
Okay?
so,
Okay, well, let's do it regular.
okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
tried calling me today, but I was in an appointment, so I couldn't answer him. I don't know if it was about this or not. Did
That way
somebody
we
talk
can,
to Lance about this beforehand? Bob, did you talk to Lance about this beforehand by some reason?
No.
All right, because he tried contacting me, and I don't know if it was about this or not. Okay, anything else on this thing?
that was it? Richard, you good?
Good, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I have nothing else for the committee of the whole, so if I can ask for a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Ruiz by Carmichael, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
All right, it's almost 7:30. Okay, so it's back to how it was.
It's not green. Okay, thank you.
Clerk Paul, can you call the council meeting to order, please?
Lennon,
Here.
Roywood,
Here.
Leisure,
Here.
Faith,
Here.
Pabon,
Here.
Louise,
Here.
Aaronella,
Here.
Carmichael.
Here.
8 present, Mayor.
If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and please remain standing. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we please keep in our thoughts and prayers the men and women we have on the street tonight. I've also asked you to keep in your thoughts and prayers, regardless of what side you believe in, the wars that are going on between Russia and Ukraine and Israel and the Palestinians. If we could just pray for everybody to please find a peaceful end to everything we're seeing going around the world today. Thank you. If anybody wishes to address the open forum, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address. Okay, Alderman, anything for open forum? Okay, hearing none, we have item C1, please.
Item C1 are the minutes of the Committee of the Whole and the regular meeting of the City Council for September 26, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes and the committee of the whole minutes for September's 26, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Fay to approve the city council minutes and the committee of the whole minutes of September 26, 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item E1, please.
Item E1 is a communication from the Berwyn Development Corporation regarding first and second quarter vacancy reports.
Marcos, do you want to give us the highlights?
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Hi, members of the City Council. Yeah, so we submitted the quarter one and quarter two vacancy report for 2023. And the major highlight is that the overall percentage in the community is down 1.5% from the end of 2022. So that's a great sign. The BDC's been working really hard to help get track and better information on these properties that don't have any commercial occupancy in the moment. And so our team enforcing the vacancy ordinance that we passed in May has been really helpful to gain a better insight into what's going on in the community, working with property owners and business owners to be able to utilize some of the resources that are available to become occupied, to use some of our programs to redevelop their buildings and just be able to bring up the community. So there's a good, really just overview stats in the report, and yeah, I'd be happy to work with any of the members of City Council to be able to identify some of the areas in their ward that we might be able to help address.
And just as a thing of interest that we're going to pass on to the BDC, during one of the conferences we had out in Washington, D.C., Verizon has a special purchase order for businesses with respect to IT stuff. Being not the most intelligent person when it comes to IT, I'm going to look at the brochure, the flyer they gave us. I'm going to pass it on to BDC so that you guys can get it out to the business world there too.
Yeah, that's great. And we're always looking for different resources that we can make available to the business community or even property owners. And that's really the idea behind enforcing this ordinance, is to be able to work with the business community and property owners in the community to then bring occupied businesses and stuff like that out to the community.
Okay, anybody have any questions on the report? All right, thank you, Marcos. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept this as informational.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Roywood to accept the communication from Vernon Development Corporation on the vacancy report as informational. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item F1, please.
F1 is a communication from the mayor with a proclamation Whereas children, parents, and community leaders around the world are joining together to walk to school in support for safer routes to school, safer streets for pedestrians, and cleaner air in our communities, now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Robert J. Lavero, and the esteemed members of the City Council proclaim October 4th, 2023 as Walk and Roll to School Day in the City of Berwyn and encourage everyone to consider the safety and health of children today and every day.
This is what we brought up at the last council meeting. We didn't have the proclamation, but we did introduce this to you. Alderman?
I move that we accept this proclamation for the Walk and Roll to School Day, promoting safety and the health of children. Authorize the corporate authorities to affix the necessary signatures and place it on its way to passage.
Second.
Motion by Leisure, seconded by Carmichael to accept the proclamation approved, fix the necessary signatures, and place it on its way to passage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item G1, please.
G1 is a communication from the clerk regarding the 2024 schedule of regular council meetings and city hall closures.
Be my motion to concur with the city clerk and approve the regular meetings for 2024 and the scheduled city hall closures.
Second?
Motion by Fate, seconded by Lennon, to approve the communication from the clerk regarding the 2024 meeting schedule and list of city holidays. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Item J1, please.
J1 is a communication from Public Works Director Schiller regarding the design and construction engineering services for the 30th Street Water Tower restoration.
It be my motion to concur with Director Schiller's staff recommendation on the execution of the design and construction engineering proposal for the amount of $128,016 for the 30th Street Water Tower restoration.
Second?
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Lennon, to concur with Director Schiller and execute the design and construction engineering proposal for the amount of $128,016 with Robinson Engineering. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon?
Aye.
Ruiz?
Aye.
Aaronella? Carmichael?
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J2, please.
J2 is a communication from Director Schiller regarding sewer televising and cleaning for 16th Street Phase 2 design.
It be my motion to concur with Director Schiller's staff recommendation as part of the sewer televising and cleaning for the 16th Street Phase design. The execution of the proposal for $249,092.25.
Second.
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Carmichael, to concur with Director Schiller and approve the Phase 2 design execution of the proposal for the 16th Street Phase 2 design, $249,092.25 with National Power Rotting. All those in favor, on the call of the roll.
Lennon?
Aye.
Roywood?
Aye.
Leisure?
Aye.
Fate?
Aye.
Pabon?
Aye.
Ruiz?
Aye.
Aaronella?
Aye.
Carmichael?
Aye.
8 ayes, Mayor.
Motion carried. Item J3, please.
J3 is a communication from Public Works Director Schiller with a resolution for the 2024 motor fuel tax maintenance resolution.
It'd be my motion to concur with Director Schiller's staff, request approval of the 2024 motor fuel tax maintenance resolution as prepared by Novotny Engineering, consulting engineer for the city of Berwyn, and staff.
Second?
Motion by Ruiz, seconded by Lennon, to concur with Director Schiller and approve the 2024 motor fuel tax maintenance resolution prepared by Novotny Engineering and staff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item J4, please.
J4 is a communication from City Administrator Ciaba Green regarding a contract for waste and recycling services.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this agenda item for a COW discussion in the next 2 weeks scheduled.
Second?
Do you want it on the council in 2 weeks also? Or we'll do the committee of
Yes,
the
I'm
whole?
sorry, yes. Open COW discussion on this with it
Well, when you
following
say
on the
defer, it
council
automatically
agenda.
go. I just want to make sure you want
Yes.
it. Okay. Okay, motion by Ruiz, seconded by Lennon to defer the communication for 2 weeks and put it on the next council call for discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Lennon, seconded by Leisure to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Aldermanic committee meetings, Alderman Lennon,
Call of the chair.
Alderman Roywood,
Call the chair.
Alderman Leisure,
Call of the chair.
Alderman Fate,
Call it, Chair.
Alderman Pabon,
Call the chair.
Alderman Ruiz,
There is a Public Works Committee meeting at, on October 24th in the City Conference Room at 2:30 PM.
Alderman Aaronella,
Call the chair.
Alderman Carmichael.
Call the chair, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Carmichael, seconded by Leisure. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Sorry, there's nothing to repeat.
Should have put money on it.
Tell Claudia.